All right, boys. Welcome
Hello.
to JJDL Season 4 Power Rankings. They're not really Power Rankings. We're just going to rate every team out of 10. I just use the word Power Ranking because that'll lead to more clicks. How's everybody doing? I got Obo with me.
Hello.
I should be finishing getting ready for vacation, but this guy right here did my dishes for me so we could stream, so.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah,
You know what they say, good guy Obo.
Central says you're so beautiful today.
Central, you look very beautiful every single day.
He's very handsome. Have you seen him?
He's a very handsome fellow.
Very handsome.
Handsome fellow.
What's going on though, guys? Can't wait for Johnny to give himself the only 10 out of 10. Look, we're gonna do a thing where I don't rate Team Magma teams and Obo doesn't rank Team Star teams. That way, if I think somebody's team, Jamal's team, is a 2 out of 10, then it doesn't cause any tension. I was just using Jamal as a scapegoat because I do that. We made it up though. He sent me a Jimmy Butler gift. Housewife Obo, so true. I kiss Obo. I'll kiss Obo right now.
On
Guys, I also think that everybody, every time we go in public, thinks that Obo and I are a couple. Every single time. We went to Chili's today. Just two guys having Chili's, right?
Two guys eating
There's
lunch.
two guys eating lunch together. And did anybody give us the thought process to have that? Like, to think that they thought we were like that? No. Do Obo just think that we think everybody thinks that in public? Yes.
When they asked if the check was together or separate, I said together for 3 years now. So I didn't. Jesse, you just took a fat shit. Nice. I mean, I did too.
Nice score,
fucking
John.
stinks.
Wonder who you stole it from. All right, Keegan, let's pipe it down there, buddy. By the way, guys, be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. Helps out a ton. The camera's over here, obviously. Chat's over here, so I'm gonna be looking back and forth. Obo's probably gonna stay under the soul of the camera more times than not. Live event will begin in 0-0. Is that what it says? We're started. I don't know anything about that.
I'm not looking away from the camera the entire time.
Let me know if music's too loud, by the way, and let Obo know if he needs to talk louder.
Do I need to talk? Hold on. This is gonna be my normal talking voice, probably.
You see what Jesse says?
Can't wait to take a shit. Hey, Jesse, me and you will take a shit together, man. And then not flush.
Nice shirt, Obo. Can't wait. You're wearing a Chorus Banquet shirt on my monetized stream?
Hey.
Man. Yo, I guess you gotta take it off. Do not... okay, that fixed it. Obo, speak up. Obo, talk louder, buddy.
Okay, do you guys know how they came up with the name NASCAR? I'm gonna wait to see if anyone responds.
How did they come up with the name NASCAR?
Because one guy walked by another guy's car and said, "Hey, nice car."
And with that, we're gonna go ahead and start the stream, guys. So, what team would you guys like us to start with? We've done zero preparation for this.
I was going to prepare, and John said, "I'm doing it off the dome," so I'm also doing it off the dome.
Yeah, so we can start with whatever team you guys want. I prefer to start with, I say that, I'm a liar. I'd rather start with one of Rocket or Plasma, so we start with a team that Obo and I can both talk about the teams. That way we get a little feel for everything. So who do you guys want to see first?
Also, Jesse, that shirt, I lost it for a while, but I found it. So that shirt is very, very good, and it's very fitting. The hat will not come off, though, because if the hat comes off, then I'll look like King Neptune?
Bald.
Because the shirt that Jesse got me had said something about the bald spot on my head was I'm not saying that.
Anyway, from Jonah Murphy, start with Plasma because they were done first. I like that suggestion, Jonah. Let's go ahead and let's start with Plasma. I guess
they were done first. we can tell they were done first.
We can tell. So I guess we'll just start. We'll go from top left to all the way to bottom right. How are you doing, Bash?
I haven't heard the name Bash in a while.
Dude,
Bash
is active.
Bash?
I love Bash. He's not even in this season. I hope he's a replacement because he'd be a top tier replacement. But anyway, we're gonna start with Plasma. Oh boy, you can tell these guys were done first. Captained by Trey and Noah.
Checks
out. That's for sure. All right, so we'll start with Igpa. We'll start with Big Nate first. We've got a Torn Curum team, which actually I think there's 3 Torn Curum teams. Maybe only 2. I know Magma has one as well. We've got Quack, Crook, Sylveon, Shaman, Magnezone, Glowbro, Earthworm, and Oricorio. Obo, what do you think?
I will say with this team, I'm a big Quackwavel fan. I think Quack is very, very good, especially in this type of format. The only thing I don't like, Torn is one of the top tier speed mons, which is good, like in the format. Other than that, I mean, Quack being able to speed boost with just clicking a move is nice, but not a whole lot of speed. What is Oricorio speed? I forgot that was down there.
90, I think, right?
Yeah, the speed tiers aren't the greatest. Removal isn't the greatest, but I think in this gen, removal isn't needed as much. You do have Quackwavel for Rapid Spin, but if you're clicking Rapid Spin on Quackwavel, when it's your only spinner, it's not the greatest. So I would say my only problem with this team is Quaquaval is your only spinner. I don't really like Slowbro, Galler, Orthworm, or Ikorio as last 3 picks.
Why? Why do you think that?
I'm not a huge fan of Glowbro. I know you are. I'm also not a fan of Magnezone, to be fair.
I think Magnezone's bad.
I think Magnezone is bad, but I really do like the top, was it 7 Mons? Or 6.
But he cannot count.
I'm a big Shaman fan. I think Shaman is goated. Sylveon is okay. Crocodile is nice. I would give this team a solid probably 6.8 to a 7.
Man, let's just keep it full numbers, because we are. Let's just keep it whole numbers, because I'm not going back through this. And remember, guys, this is like our initial thoughts of the team. If we sat down and we actually thought about this more so, maybe the power ranks would be different. I don't want anybody complaining about us giving a team a bad ranking because yada yada yada. Because this is like the first look, and we're trying to get through 48 things. I can't sit here all night, so we're gonna go pretty quick. So you think 6 or 7? You said 6.8, so you're thinking closer to 7.
I would say 7 then.
You say 7?
Yes.
5 max. So Tor and Kyurem, I like it. I like Kyurem. They both break waters for Quack, which is pretty cool. What are you doing? Okay, thank you. I mean, I agree with a lot of what Obo said. I don't think, I mean, yeah, single rapid spinner Quack leads to Kyurem going to be having to run boost a lot of weeks, but is that a bad thing? I don't necessarily think so.
I would say with Kyurem, especially losing Roost, I'm going to bring it down to 6, actually. I forgot about that. Kyurem losing Roost, okay. I think you having to run boots on Kyurem more times than not kind of makes it not the greatest, because in my experience with Kyurem, you definitely want to be running a boosting item or a resistance berry of some sort. Like Specs Kyurem can go in, but like if someone tries to rock stack you, or what the fuck, hazard stack you, you're not looking too pretty, I feel like. But I do like the team. That's why I think it's 6. I think it's barely above being mid, though. And obviously, I don't know some of these players. Igba could use this team very well. Like Quaquaval can just win some games, so pretty good team. I'd say it's a pretty good team.
Good luck with that finals bash. Yeah, my main problems with this team, like Obo said, I don't like the bottom 4 a whole lot. Like I love Glowbro, but I don't like Magnezone as the steal, especially when you have a single rock or Crocodile. Unless Orthworm gets it. Orthworm might get it. Either way, Orthworm sucks. Your fairy resist are Magnezone, Glowbro, and Orthworm, and you're very heavily pressured to bring one of those every week, pretty much. Kyurem, Quack, Crook. They share a lot of weaknesses. You're very weak to like fighting, like physical fighting types will give you a big problem. You're gonna lean on Torn a bit, because quite a bit, because Sylveon sucks. But past those weaknesses, it's not a bad team. You just single rocker, heavily gonna rely on these 3 guys, and you don't really want to. I say 6 out of 10 as well. I think that was a good. Yeah, I'm not giving you a high five. Good ranking. Please stop doing that. Why did you do that?
I knew
okay. Next
see.
Up, you actually, this was one of the few teams that you looked at, right? This was one of the teams you had something to say about.
SJs.
SJM.
Yeah.
Two different people.
SJM. I do like this team a lot. I think Lottie, Treads, Iron Hands, Rillaboom is fucking stacked. I think they kind of stacked this team, which is fine.
Well, hold on. Well, thank you for saying this playlist is goated. I took time out of my day to make a YouTube playlist for you guys.
There we go.
So thank you. Thank you.
My biggest concern, I always see this with Rillaboom teams. Mine, I mean, I'm not going to spoil my team, but Rillaboom teams, they really rely on Rillaboom to have grassy terrain. Latios is nice as an immunity. Iron Juglius is nice, but then you still have Diancie, Entei, Alolan Muck. Primarina does not want to take a lot of ground moves either. I guess Earthquake obviously is the most used ground move, but like if someone just runs high horsepower or they are a special ground user, like I could see Lando Eye being a problem for this team. But I do like Lottie, Treads, Hands, Boom a lot. I love Alolan Muck. Entei is a bad Pokemon. Diancie is okay.
Say it again in case they didn't hear you.
Entei is a terrible Pokemon. I really do like Hands and Treads combo with Rillaboom and Lottie. I would give this team probably. This one is kind of tough. I really like the momentum on this team as well. Removal is Treads, which is very. Is that it? Yeah, Treads. This one is tough. I would give this one probably a 7. I think it is definitely better than Igpa's. What?
7?
Do you think it's higher or lower?
Dude, is it my turn? To talk about this team?
7.5.
So I like this team a lot. I think this is one of the best, in my opinion, the second best team on Team Plasma. This is one of the few teams that I actually looked at prior. I think there are a few weaknesses. Obviously, they're going to be with every team in this type of format. You can't get exactly what you want. I think Treads is really cool with grassy terrain because you can run high horsepower or stomping. I think it gets either or. I like Latios and Treads a lot. Treads momentum into Lati. Very resist. I like hands in general. Rillaboom on top of hands is fantastic. Obviously, I had that and I enjoyed that quite a bit. This team just covers pretty much everything that you wanted to cover very, very well. The only downsides with this team, in my opinion, are the no elite speed tier. You have nothing faster than Latios. You have Latios and then Jugu, which are two pretty fast Pokemon, but past that, you don't have anything touching something like Sneasler, Torn, etc. And then your rockers are a little weak just because you don't want Treads to have to run rocks every week and be that defensive role, which it looks like it's going to be forced into on this team. And then otherwise it's Diancie, which Diancie is fine, but again, it's a Pokemon that you're not going to want to bring every single matchup. So I think this team is fantastic. I would say 8 or 9. If we're gonna do halves, let's say we can do a half since you did 7.5. I would say 8.5. I think this team's very good. There are some downsides, but overall, I think this team's very, very good. I acted like you rated it like crazy, but I rated it like 1.9. I'd say 8.5 or 9. It's very, very good. I could be convinced, like going back after we look at all the teams, that this could be a 9, but right now I'll play it safe and say 8.5. Very good team.
Okay.
All right.
Respectful.
Yeah. Isn't Sneasler bad? Yeah, Sneasler. Okay, Sneasler was just a mon that I thought of in 120. Okay, Meowscarada will stay instead of that. Torn, Meowscarada, things like that.
Okay. You start with the next one since.
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the next one. So next one we got Thriller. This is actually the guy that I played week 1. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say too much about it. Hold on, I might be getting a call. No. What did Jericho say? Okay. So Thriller's team: Meowscarada, Latias, Annihilate, Scizor, Thundee, Arcanine, Clodsire, Tinkaton, and Dozo. I like this team overall. I think there are a couple of momentum stoppers that this team doesn't really like because you've got some really nice stuff going on with the first few picks. Meowscarada, Annihilate, Scizor, Thundee, a lot of U-turn Pokemon, even Latias gets Baton Pass. It's very cohesive in that sense, and they cover each other pretty well. However, Clodsire and Dondozo, I don't love on this team. They soak up momentum, and they don't really do a lot of damage back. They kind of are there like, yeah, they'll check maybe a good physical threat. Like you have Dozo for... I don't know, maybe you can check the Great Tusk since it's right over there, for instance. But overall, those two Pokemon really don't mesh with the rest of the team super well. But you have what you want with a lot of different types here to cover certain things. The only thing I don't love, your Dark type is Meowscarada, so you are extremely weak to Ghost with Latias plus Annihilate, and obviously your Fighting type is Annihilate, so you're also super weak to Darks. So past that, it's a pretty good team. I don't think there's too much wrong with it. I'm trying to see, like, maybe your hazards are a little bit weak, but you have Tinkaton, Clod, and Annihilate for rocks. You have Meowscarada with spikes, Clodsire with spikes, Cloud with T-spikes, so it's not even that bad. I guess you have only removal Scizor, but I don't even think that's a bad thing. You just won't be able to stack the weeks you bring out. I think this is a good team. I think it's a little worse than SJM's, but I don't think it's bad. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, that's pretty respectable.
Dozo flips? Dozo doesn't have flip turn, does it?
I just looked it up.
Buddy does not know what he's talking about.
I love you, Central, but it does not get flip turn. But I like this team a lot more than I like SJM's.
Hold on, let's just take a minute. Yo, Central, buddy, read a book or something, dude. What's going on?
Oh god, I think Thriller's team is really good. I like Meowscarada, Lati, Ape, Scizor, and Thundee, and I am a huge fan of Arcanine Asui. I think Arcanine Asui puts on so much pressure for this team. It breaks for Meowscarada, Lati, and Ape, and Scizor, obviously. Thundee also can break with, 140 special attack. So I really do like the pairing of Arcanine Asui and Thundee as, like, these, 1, 2, 3, 5th and 6th Mon. I do not like Dondozo, but it is nice for the Great Tusk matchup. You also have a Latias, which can do so much damage to that guy. Megahorn, obviously, from Great Tusk would hurt, but I would give this team a 9, to be fair.
You think it's better than SJM's?
I think it's better than SJM's. I like this team a lot more.
I think they're both pretty good.
I like this team a lot more. I like this team more. I'm a big fan of Tinkaton, Arcanine Asui, Thundee, just really good late picks other than Dondozo, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of Dondozo. I think Dondozo is a bad Pokemon. But this team would be hard to break through with Clodsire, Clodsire and Dondozo. Tinkaton can be bulky. Scizor can be annoying. Annihilate can be annoying. Latias can be annoying. Like, I could see Thriller using this team very well and probably giving John a week 1 loss. So wow. This is a really good team. Thriller, you're getting the highest rating so far from me in a 9.
Wow. Okay. That was a little harsh.
Sorry,
that was a little
sorry,
harsh.
man.
But next up we'll have Bleedle. We have Great Tusk, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Manaphy. Another core that I've seen drafted a few times. King Gambit, Thundurus, Rabombi, Bronzong, Regidrago, Quillfish, and Dashbomb. I don't hate this team. This team's not bad by any means. I don't love the fact that you have, let me just verify that I'm not talking out my ass. You have only remover Great Tusk into Ogerpon. I had that. Really didn't like that in GBU. It felt like Great Tusk was always forced to be a remover because Ogerpon is fantastic next to Great Tusk, but you really have to keep those hazards off the field. And while Great Tusk can do that very well, you don't really want to put it in that role where it has to do that every single week because then it's very limited. And I didn't like it when it was super limited. So coming from me, Bleedle, if I were you, I would get another remover. But past that, I mean, his team's very, very powerful. He has good breakers, Thundurus, Ogerpon. He has good setup threats, Manaphy. King Gambit could also fill both those roles. Rabombi's a terrible, terrible Pokemon. I don't know why we have it on the squad. I'm assuming we have Bronzong to be another fairy resist. A fairy resist on top of Ogerpon because we have King Gambit as a... Yeah, so we have... I don't really understand necessarily the Bronzong, I guess, but like top 5 Pokemon are very, very hard to switch into, and you don't have bad supporting pieces. You have Dashbomb, which I'm a big fan of, Quillfish to provide spikes. I guess Bronzong can provide rocks. You have a couple rockers, Zong, King Gambit, Great Tusk. So Great Tusk isn't going to be forced into that rocking role, which is really nice. This team's not bad. I think the other teams are better, though. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I think Great Tusk, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, good core, but it is not my favorite thing to pair with Great Tusk. I think Ogerpon, Hearthflame wants another remover that is not Great Tusk.
Rabombi is a terrible Pokemon. It's arguably the best web setter.
Okay,
no, so Araquid in my beloved.
So webs in Generation 9, I feel like are like I've played last season BBR. I played Amel. He had Araquid with webs. It was harder to deal with than Rabombi. I just played D-Ray week 1 of BBR. Make sure you guys check that video out for BBR. But Rabombi is bad. Webs in Generation 9, you can run heavy duty boots on every single Pokemon if you need to. I don't agree with webs that much in this generation. I think it has some good merit depending on matchups, but I don't want to waste 9 points on a webs setter. You know what I mean? And if it is, you should get your bulky water in Araquanid and get webs.
I agree with Obo to an extent. I do think, and Keegan's saying in the chat too, I think they're hating on it a little bit too much. I don't think webs are like unusable this generation, but I do think a lot of people in different draft chats, from what I heard, were really leaning on we need webs on this team. We need webs abusers.
Taken advantage of so easily.
I don't think webs are like as prominent as people think they are, especially this generation. I think webs are severely overrated based on what you guys were saying about them. And it's nice to have them, and it's nice to force prep with them, with potentially making people run boots. But if you have a hazard stack team, they're probably gonna run boots anyway. You know what I mean? So
exactly. That's my thought process behind it as well. Like Central, yeah, you're the force boots, which prevents other items, which is nice. But also, like, boots is the best item. You know what I mean? Boots is arguably the best item in Gen 9, other than like boosting items. I would give this team probably a solid 7 because I do like Thundy. No. I do like Manaphy. I love Manaphy. I like the Bronzong pick. I love Quillfish. Regidrago is a god as well.
I like Regidrago.
I like Regidrago a lot on this team because if you over prep for Manaphy, or like if it forces whatever check, like if it wants to try to check, I'm trying to think of a mon to be a good check to Regidrago plus Manaphy or Ogerpon, or you know what I'm saying. It forces it, like Regidrago can be special or physical, so whatever your Pokemon is. If you switch into like a fucking Specs, what's the dragon move it gets?
Dragon Energy.
Yeah, like you're gonna drop. So I give this team a 7. I think this team will be successful, but I don't think it is not my favorite team. Only remover Great Tusk, which it is the most reliable remover, but then you have to run Rapid Spin every week, and do Ogerpon Hearthflame. So 7. I'd say 7.
Guys, be sure to leave a like. By the way, we're at 22 viewers and only 11 likes. We can get that. We can get that up. Alex asked, "What do people think about Rabombi being a good fast fairy?" I truly don't know, so I just wanted to ask. It's not like a bad Pokemon by any means, but you're getting what you expect with a 9-pointer. It's like kind of frail. It has the Quiver Dance option, which is like kind of cool. Like it can be alright in some matchups. Stun Spore with utility and U-turn's pretty cool. Like it's fine as a fast fairy, I suppose, but usually in Draft League you want a fairy to be able to take hits because fairy is like one of the best defensive typings. So fast fairy isn't necessarily like a role that you want to check off, but if for some reason that is a role you want to check off and that's like what you're looking for, then it's not like horrible. I don't hate Rabombi in that sense, but I don't like Rabombi in the sense that I need webs webs here now. Like I don't like it in that sense. But next up, we're gonna look at Windows team: Garchomp, Heatran, Pecharunt, Clefable, Big Boulder Shoulder, Mandibuzz, Rotom Heat, Sinastra, and Alomalola. Hate Alomalola. Anyway. So Garchomp, Heatran. So we have a speed gap between Garchomp and Boulder, which I don't necessarily love. We also don't have. We have Mandibuzz and Rotom Heat as ground resist in the Heatran, which isn't horrible. We have Bulky Water Aloe, so we are still pretty weak to ice. I guess Rotom Heat patches it and Heatran double patches it, I suppose. You don't have great water resist by any means, Sinastra, Aloe, I suppose, but you're not going to be bringing them every single matchup, obviously. You have 2 primary breakers. I mean, you could count Heatran as a breaker, I suppose. Garchomp and Boulder is what I'm really looking at. So this seems pretty passive, and your 2 main ways to break Pokemon are primarily physical. Obviously, Garchomp can run special. This team looks a little underwhelming to me. I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. I think it's not the worst we've seen so far. Maybe it is the worst we've seen so far, but I don't think it's bad by any means.
Yeah, I do think this team is pretty good, but Edgequake kind of goes crazy against this team, especially a very specific Manaphy. Like, Manaphy just cooks a team like this. Like, Ogerpon Wellspring could also cook this team pretty well. I do love Sinistcha. A lot of people seem like in draft chats love Sinistcha from what I've heard, and obviously in Team Star, everyone loves Sinistcha and wanted it on their fucking team. Everyone's like, Sinistcha, I need it, which I do. I like Sinistcha. I'm a fan of Alola Mola, but you kind of lack, other than Heatran, some special bulk. I mean, Clefable's there, but Clefable has like what, 90 Spadef?
I have no idea.
I take it back. You don't lack too much in Spadef, but I do think your team is definitely more physically defensive in Alola Mola, Mandibuzz, Pecharunt. But I am a fan of Garchomp. Some good hazards with Stealth Rock on Heatran Garchomp, Spikes on Garchomp, Stealth Rock on Clefable. I'm a fan of Rotom Heat as well. I'd give this team like a 7. I think it's on the same level as Bleedle's team, in my opinion. I think this team is going to have a lot of fun with some hazards if teams don't want to run heavy-duty boots, obviously. But yeah, I give it a 7. I think Boulder was a nice pickup. I think Boulder was a really nice pickup.
Always is. Shout out to Keegan, biggest Boulder fan I know, if he's still here. Guys, 28 viewers, 14 likes. Let's get our likes up.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Let's get our likes up, guys. Next up, I'm going to promote myself while talking about Wagon's team. Go ahead and become a John Jr. channel member today, 99 cents a month. You get some cool emotes.
There are some cool emotes. I like commenting Big Man, and my favorite one is the Thriller one with Jolteon. I comment that one a lot.
Is everything going to be 6, 7? I think I rated Thriller an 8 and SJM an 8.5 or a 9.
I rated Thriller a 9. I rated someone a 6.5. I rated someone 7.5. That's crazy.
Number 1 team, 10 out of 10. So Wagon's team is extremely good. We've got Grin, Lando, Raging Bolt, Glamora, Metagross, Ogerpon, Compe, Hariyama, Ursaring, Drifblim, and Cutie.
Those are some really good low tier picks.
Those are some good low tier picks.
That is, because Drifblim at 4 is a steal.
What?
I mean, this team.
Go ahead, talk about it. Go ahead.
This team is pretty good. Other than the fact, so the remover is Drifblim get defog. I can't remember.
No, if Drifblim gets defog, yes, no.
Okay. So remover is Glamora, which is still a remover because you have great ways to deal with steel types in Landorus Therian. And I like this team a lot. I'm not huge on Raging Bolt. I've never been huge on Raging Bolt. But it does get defog. Cool. So he does have defog with Drifblim, so I like it a little bit better. Ogerpon is very, very good. I think this team, the only thing this team would lack with, I don't know. I really don't see
upon first glance, this team is like maybe if we dive deep and we spend a long time looking at these teams. But upon first glance, this team doesn't really struggle with anything. It has good breakers, it has good momentum, good Pokemon on physical and special side, good hazards, good bulk. Good bulk. 10 out of 10.
I would give it a 9.5. I want to see a team. I have a team that's a 10 in mind, so I'd give Wagon's team a 9.5. No.
How do people feel about Metagross? In my mind, I don't like having a steel type that's weak to Ghost and Dark, but I think it's just me. Metagross is one of my favorite steel types to draft, actually, especially now that it has both all 3 of knockoff, Psychic Fangs, and Heavy Slam. I think those 3 moves help it out tremendously. It's just so good. It's so bulky, and it's so strong. And also, priority with Bullet Punch is super nice, and it's a very reliable rocker. And it has good coverage. It's a full package.
With 130 attack, too, it is It is amazing.
Such a good Pokemon.
I like Metagross a lot. I've yet to draft it, but I want to draft it.
It's one of my most drafted Pokemon. I love Metagross, but yeah, we'll give Wagons a 10. I'll be pretty
Nine and a half.
that one.
9.5.
I'll give it a 10.
Okay. God, I see Trey's really bad Sun team on here.
Ooh, can't wait. All right, next up, we've got Big Odin finally making it in JJDL. Shout out to him for the persistence. I think he applied season 2 and 3 and didn't get in, and now he's here.
I was going to draft Odin as one of my last picks because he was still there, and I liked his name. Because I read it as Puddin.
Okay, anyway, we've got Bundle, Cinderace, a tried and true combo. I think those two are great together. Zapdos, Klefki, Zoroark, Hisui, Hydrapple, Donphan, Mesprit, Quillfish, Hisui, and Cryo. So my initial thoughts with this team, I like the momentum quite a bit. Bundle, Cinderace, Zapdos, Zoroark, Mesprit. Quillfish get flipped turn? I don't think so because the Overcoat does not. But I like the offensive pivots that allow Bundle and Cinderace work very well together. I guess my main concern looking over this at the moment is bulky waters are going to be a little difficult to deal with. You have Hydrapple, but past that, it's like you're relying on Bundle Freeze Dry quite a bit, and I guess Cryo Freeze Dry potentially as well, but not a reliable method of dealing with those bulky waters. You have Court Change for removal, but you have a Spike Stack team with Quillfish, Klefki, and Donphan is Setter, so you don't really want to necessarily rely on Court and Change, but it's a good option to have. Good hazard options.
Spin Donphan as well.
Oh yeah, Spin Donphan. You're right. I didn't see that one. It's a good team. I do think. I mean, Zoroark's stronger than I give it credit for. I always forget how strong Zoroark Hisui is. I think it's 125 special attack, but I might be mistaken.
I think it's 150.
I mean, this team's good. I think I'm not too high on these lower tier picks. I feel like we could have went a little bit of a different direction for that, but that might just be me nitpicking. I'll give this one a safe 7. Shout out to Lost for saying, or is everything going to be a 7? There's nothing inherently wrong with this team, but I like the other teams better, so I'll give it a 7.
Okay. I like this team a little bit more than John does. My main concern with this team is the bulky waters, right, being kind of hard to break. You have a bundle with freeze dry, which is nice, but in BBR season 7, I had Hydrapple as my grass type, and you do not want Hydrapple as your grass type with bulky water or just waters in general. It seems like because Ice Beam is a move that exists, and it sucks. I love the low tier picks. Cryogonal is amazing. Quillfish Hisui is amazing. Mesprit is amazing, and Donphan is amazing. The only thing I really have with this team is Hydrapple. I would have switched that up a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Klefki, especially when, I mean, Hydrapple was pretty nice behind screens. I'll give you that. I had Grimmsnarl with screens with my Hydrapple. Go to removal, good speed tiers. I would just say Hydrapple, man. I wouldn't have drafted Hydrapple. But that's just me. Obviously, I didn't use Hydrapple very well. I would give this team an 8 though. Other than Hydrapple, I really do like this team a lot.
Okay, next up we've got Noah. Noah, shall I say, it looks like you closed your eyes when you were drafting.
It honestly
is bad. 2 out of 10? You want to just say 2 out of 10, move on?
You can tell that Noah drafted his team very fast.
No, you can tell that this guy did not know what he was doing. Where's he at?
Hold on, Keegan, my take on this team is I forgot to ban the Zoroarks. He was going to ban the Zoroarks. Keegan, I'm usually on your side, big man.
What are you talking about, Keegan?
I'm usually on your side, but...
What are you talking about? Anyway, because do you think Illusion is uncompetitive? Oh yeah, Keegan did the tier list for those of you that do not know. But next up, Goldengo, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Weavile, Gliscor, Lycandusk, Gardevoir, Porygon, Z, Tentacruel, Vikavolt, and Illumise. Has anyone had fun playing against a Zoroark? I've never thought, I'm facing a Zoroark. This is not fun.
What was the Zoroark set?
What are you doing?
That Thomas brought you.
What are you doing?
Brought against you. Wasn't it like
I don't remember.
Hyper Beam or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Goldengo, Ogerpon. So you got stacked with Gliscor into Goldengo. Obviously, Ogerpon gets spikes as well. Lycanroc gets Stealth Rocks. I'll go stepping out for a second. Tentacruel gets T-Spikes. We have Webs with Vikavolt, which I think are a little bit overrated, obviously. We have Spin with Tentacruel. It's in the Central Gift. Zoroark is fun to use. I've never thought this is not fun to play, but... this team just feels like a little underwhelming, man. I don't know. Like, you have good breakers, PZ especially, Goldengo especially, Ogerpon, Weavile physically, Lycandusk physically. I don't know. I don't know why. I just, like, all of your offensive Pokemon are very, very frail. I think, except for, like, Ogerpon's not the most frail, and Goldengo's obviously not frail. Ogerpon's kind of sneaky bulky, but, like, Weavile, Lycandusk, PZ... Like, I guess I don't like this team because it's like crazy. I wouldn't even say crazy HO. It's just your breakers are very frail. So I'm not in love with this team. You have 2 Earthquake Resist, Ogerpon, Glide Score. Like, I'm trying to find a way to hate No. I'm not going to lie to you. Thank you for the free win. Yo, Thriller, thank you so much for the $20, man.
Hey,
Really appreciate that.
Thriller, can I post my PayPal on here? And you,
Shut
I play you, big dog.
Thank you, Thriller, for the donation. Really appreciate that. I guess I just don't like that your breakers are extremely frail. I'll give it, dude. No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's the hater in me. I just really don't like this team. I would have to sit down and really think why. What? 5? I was thinking 6. I'll give it a 6. I don't think. You know what? 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
I'm giving this team Noah. I love you, brother. I think this team is a 5. I'm not sold.
Ball right there.
I'm not sold on, like John said, the breakers being super frail. I do like Gliscor on this team. I think Gliscor is nice. PZ I think will be very underrated in this type of format. I think PZ is going to break a lot of Pokemon.
You can reply to donos now. Hold up. How do I do that?
3 dots.
You
comment.
Oh, like I can like it.
You can comment.
You can comment.
But Ogerpon Wellspring is nice. I do like the hazard options on this team. You have T-Spikes with Tentacruel. You have Sticky Web Vikavolt, which you already know how I feel about Sticky Web, but it's still a hazard. You have Stealth Rock and Spikes with Gliscor, Spikes with Ogerpon Wellspring. I do like this team a lot in that aspect because you are forcing a lot of hazards, and you have a Goldango, which is the best spin blocker. Annihilate's the best because Defiant.
I think Goldango's the best because Goldango just taps it out, right?
Yeah.
But Buffcat said it just lacks synergy, which is probably true. Maybe that's why.
It does look kind of like random
it feels
Pokemon.
Clunky. Yeah,
a lot of random Pokemon
clunky
on a team. I will say Noah is a great player, though. Noah's probably going to use this team very well. So, not just shitting on you, Noah. I just don't like this team very well. So, I would also say a 5.
5 is nuts.
Somebody sign me.
Yo, thank you again, Thriller. I don't know why it just popped up on the stream, but thank you again so much for the donation, man. Really appreciate you. Someone said Mingo changed his team a lot. Let me.
I like that. The message from Jericho.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, we'll talk about Mingos next. Ogo might have to talk about that. I might have to bring... I hope Jericho carries something in real quick. But we're going to talk about Baxcalibur, Gloking, Hammerat, Ogerpon, Azelf, Skarmory, Fez, Suicune, Galv, and Regigigas?
I like this team. Regigigas is an odd pick, but I like this team a lot. What did Mingo... Is this the adjusted team? I would assume so, right? Is this the...
No, this is this because it goes into effect week 2.
Somebody sign me.
Well, we're going to rank this team. Then I like Bax a lot with Gloking and Hammerat. Ogerpon Cornerstone as well.
Yo, thank you so much, Rafi, for subbing. I really appreciate that. By the way, guys, leave a like if you haven't already.
I really like the hazard options. I feel like Skarmory wasn't needed here. I feel like you could have gotten a different skill type when you already have a
I'll pull up the transactions.
I mean, I guess it's a reliable rocker, but you have Azelf with Rocks, which I do love Rocks Azelf. You have a Galvantula for Sticky Webs.
Wait, his trades made his team a lot better. He dropped Ass, Regigigas, and Suicune for Blastoise. He picked up Shocks and Florges.
And Blastoise.
Yeah, that makes his team a lot better.
Yeah, we're going to rank this team, though, for now. I do like this team, like I said. Pheasantipity is kind of odd here, but I do like it as a... you have Gloking and Pheasantipity. I feel like...
I'm ranking the new team. The new team's fantastic. You drop all 4 of these ass wipes here. These 4 not real Pokemon. You pick up Florges, which is like, alright, not great in Gen 9. But Sandy Shocks and Blastoise. The team's fantastic now. I give it like an 8.5 with the new transactions. Looking shiesty with the new one.
With the old transactions, I would give it I would probably say top 4 would be like 8 out of 10, but the rest of the Pokemon, or top 5, I like Azelf. The rest of the Pokemon, though, it brings it down to like a 6.5. With the new team, I would give it an 8, though. I do like the new team a lot.
Hi, Jericho. Oh my gosh.
Jeez, OP.
Yeah, I'll give the new team an 8.5. This team just had some very not real Pokemon at the bottom, so I'm not even gonna rank it. Your new team's fantastic. I mean, you have good transactions.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
We're talking about Trey in this
God.
awful Sun team. Ninetales is not a real Pokemon. I know there are some people in this chat who disagree with that. Ninetales is ass. I think Ninetales is unusable.
Torkoal is right there, big dog.
I think Ninetales sucks. Gouging Fire and Wake is pretty good in this format, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. I'm sick and tired of seeing Corviknight on Gouging Fire teams. I think Corviknight's such just in general a bad Pokemon, but next to Gouging Fire, like, yeah, I get it. He's not weak to ground, blah blah blah. Like,
Good momentum, I guess.
good moment. No, I think Corviknight's so ass. I think there's so many better steals that pair way better with Gouging Fire. I do like Necro next to Gouging quite a bit. I would say that much. Raikou is your electric pivot. Is fine, I guess. I'm a Raikou fan, and I'm not even the biggest fan of that. I think the gouging team should always lock Zapdos slot 2. I think that's just like a give me. Like, you just go Zapdos slot 2 every single time. Venusaur's a Sunsweep. This team's just underwhelming, Trey. I'll give it like a 3 out of 10. Hold on, I gotta
my feet.
yeah. Obo's gonna take over the stream for a minute. I gotta help Jerica carry stuff in. 3 out of 10 is egregious. I'm lying. I'm just being mean. I think it's like a 5 though. I think that it's a little weird how the captains have the 2 worst teams.
All right. Hey guys, John Jr. here. I'm back with another Pokemon Showdown live video. No, Trey's team, I do think it is a...
Chad, look at these shoes that Obo bought. These are brutal, man.
He doesn't... Why are you wearing my shoes? You have slides.
Look at these shoes.
Hold on, look at these beautiful Crocs.
Yikes.
They're brown. Brown's like my favorite color. Oh, because you're so shit. Go ahead. Yap it up, Chad. I will say, Gouging Fire Necrozma is cool. I do like Ursaluna on this team, and I do like Walking Wake. Everyone knows that's my boy, Cody Zeller. So Walking Wake is a goat. I do like Venusaur with this team, but an Overcool's nice. Ninetales is not a real Pokemon. I think you should always draft Torkoal if you're going to do Sun, and if it's available, obviously. Necrozma is good, though. I do like Raikou on this team, actually. Hazards, you have Necrozma with Rocks, and Spikes with Overquill. I would like more Hazards on this team, Trey, to be honest, but other than that, I think this team is a little bit better than a 5 than John said. I do think Gouging Fire Wake can carry a lot, and also Necrozma with Gouging Fire forces a lot of fucking prep. So I'd give this team probably a 6.5. A lot of 6.5s on my end. I just don't think teams can break that threshold into 7, but pretty good team. I would like more Hazards on this team. To be frank, and guys, my name's not Frank, it's fucking Owen. So let's look at chat a little bit. I love my sun boosted Hurricanes. I also don't Armenia, I also don't like Corviknight that much. Corv is okay, but the GOAT thing, yeah, Mr. Matt, you're right, I am the GOAT, but I give it a 6.5. Let's go ahead and go into Cole's ice team. Terapagos, Enamorus, Ironmoth, Tinglu, Wash, Goodra, Sui, Breloom, Articuno, Galar, and Jolteon. This team seems kind of shiesty, actually. I do like Terapagos, Ironmoth. Tinglu is also nice if it gives good hazard. All right, I'm giving him the chair back. I know. Tell him how much money you spent on that chair.
Like $500.
It's a lazy boy. He does work in it though. I gave Trey's team a 6.5. I think it's better than a 5.
Seems ass.
Maybe closer to a 6, but we're on Cole's team now. I do like Enamorus paired with Terapagos and Ironmoth as well. I like the Hazards with Tinglu. I would like another Hazard setter though. But other than that, I think this team is pretty good. Goodra Sui is goated.
What is Arcanine doing for this team? I'm a little bit confused.
Articuno, you mean?
Yeah, bit.
Yeah.
Arcanine.
I think Articuno is
pointless. Why? I don't understand it.
I'm not a huge fan of Breloom either. I think you could definitely...
Like, this team is fantastic, I think, outside of Articuno. Even I like Breloom because it breaks the steals for Terapagos. And you have Tinglu and Moth, the steel breakers for Terapagos. Fantastic. Yeah, if you have Ghost with this Tinglu, like, we're talking. We're doing good. Articuno does... To enable Terapagos, I don't understand Articuno on this team at all. It feels like a very pointless slot.
I would give this team, though, a...
Lacking physical offense is a very true point, Shop, actually. Enam has not bad physical offense, but obviously most
of that actually
special
offense. Hey, no. Thank you for shouting that out. That makes my rating for this team a 7.
So true, Buffcat.
I would give this a solid 7 or 6.5. I keep on going back to 6.5. I would say 6.5 because of the lack of offensive breaking, because your offensive breaker is Breloom.
You mean physical?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, physical breaking is lackluster, and Articuno feels like it shouldn't be here for literally any reason. Even trading off of Jolteon. I understand it's there for the speed tier, but maybe getting, like, with these two slots, a physical breaker, I don't know. Maybe there's good physical breakers excuse me, maybe there's good physical breakers in 7. I'll say like a 7 out of 10. 6, 7 always. You already know.
Because a lot of the
6.5 stream.
a lot of teams on Team Plasma, go ahead and say it.
Are mid.
We're giving them.
They finished first, and you can tell.
We're giving
really
we're giving
tell.
them slightly better than mid. We're being nice.
Lastly, on this on Team Plasma, we're gonna talk about Draco. We have Roaring Moon, Zapdos, Excadrill, Infernape, T-Tar, Screamtail, Volcanion, Chestnut, Weezing, and that's it. So
Hey, don't shit on Quaxwell. That's my boy.
So this team is very, very good. I'm very interested to see how Roaring Moon functions in this type of format already, because people hate on this Pokemon. I like Roaring Moon plus Excadrill. A reliable way to break fairies is really nice. Past that, you don't have super reliable ways to deal with fairies, especially with like T-Tar and your fire type being Infernape, so I don't love that aspect of this team, but I love Zapdos and Sand. I think that's really good. It breaks waters, good pivot. Roaring Moon can also be used as a pivot, good offensive breaker. This team is extremely physical though. Like all of your main breakers, Roaring Moon, Excadrill, Infernape. I mean, Infernape's mixed, and then T-Tar, and then Chestnut is even physical. You have Volcanion as a special breaker, Infernape can kind of be one, and then Zapdos is kind of one. So it's lacking immediate special breaking power. But past that, like, I like this team a lot. I think this team's like an 8. I think this team's good. I like Sand, I like Zapdos, and I think Roaring Moon's cool here.
I'm also a big fan of Sand. I'm a big fan of like Zapdos Sand as well. Because Hurricane is not affected by it, obviously, but it does.
I hate this team. It's so bad, like missing so much, but it's a 7. I didn't think that his team was so bad. I think just Articuno made no sense.
Yeah, I don't. I also think the lack of physical breaking power made it pretty bad, but Dracogon, I really do like the Sand Core. I love Moon paired with Sun, or Sand and Zapdos paired with it as well, and Infernape is very, very nice. But like John said, it is lacking so much special breaking. Like special Infernape, obviously it has 104 special attack, 104 attack, so it can be special. But I would like to see a special breaker on this team. Other than that, though, it's pretty perfect. I mean, like, don't sleep on offensive Zapdos either. Offensive Zapdos puts in work too, I guess. I'd probably give this team 8.5, just because I do think.
Oh, because I gave it an 8, and you think you're better than me. Hey, chat, check this out.
I do like the Sand aspect of this team. I'm not a fan of Screamtail, but I give this 8.5. I give this a solid 8.5. Chestnut's not a real Pokemon either, though. So. All
right, which team do you guys want? Let's do either Magma or Star now. So one of us is yapping. We can just run through these two. Let's not. You know what?
You want me to yap about these?
Sure, go ahead. Okay. I'll go see if Jericho needs any more help.
I'm gonna switch. I'll sit in your seat the whole time.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna be ranking the worst teams right now. We're gonna start off with the half-ass Baja Blast and Buff Cat with Great Tusk, Argon, Hearthflame, and Manaphy, which we have seen prior on Team Plasma. There was also a team with those three. What else? Dragonite, Raikou, Iron Crown, Alolan Muck, Rabombi, Mimikyu, and Stantler. I'm a big Mimikyu stan. I think that Pokemon is awesome. Also, who was it? Corey, Ty the Tyrant, used a really cool Mimikyu set here recently. So you don't have to just be an SD set. But I do like this team. I think this team is pretty good with Great Tusk, Orcrump, Hearthflame, and Manaphy. Dragonite, I am not a huge fan on this team. Raikou is also okay. I do like the momentum with this team, though. You have U-turn with Oakmont Hearthflame. You have flip turn on Manaphy and U-turn. You have Volt Switch with Raikou. Rabombi has U-turn. This team is a pretty good team. I just don't know where I would rank it, to be honest. I don't like hazard options. You have Stealth Rock, Great Tusk, and that is also your only remover. You have Iron Crown does not learn rocks. It's just Stealth Rock's Great Tusk. I think that brings us down a little bit for me. I would probably give this team a solid... am I going to go back to my tried and true 6.5? I'm probably going to go back to my tried and true 6.5. I just don't like Dragonite. I don't like the Iron Crown. I just don't like the hazard options on this team. And I don't like... It's just Great Tusk plus... That's your remover and your rocker, because you're going to be forced to run a Stealth Rock Rapid Spin more times than not. And Great Tusk wants to be opened up for more than just that support role.
So, are you still on my first team?
Yeah, I was saying 6.5. All right, fine. We're going to speedrun it then. Next is Pep with Lottie, Iron Treads, Rotomosh, Cleavor, Grimmsnarl, Hydrapple, Talonflame, Typhlosion, Asui, Hariyami, Haramama, Quillfish, and Smeargle. Smeargle at 2 points is very underrated. I think that Pokemon is actually a pretty good value pick. Lottie, Treads, Wash, pretty good core. Cleavor is also very nice for momentum. I do think that it takes kind of a drop off after Grimmsnarl. Talonflame is nice. Hariyama is nice. I do like Quillfish, but not a fan of Typhlosion Asui. Hydrapple is a bad Pokemon. I think that Pokemon should not get drafted. I think this team is definitely better than Buffcats, though, because I think Lottie, Treads, Wash, Cleavor is nice. So I'm going to give this team probably a 7.5. I do like Rocks, Treads. I like how Stoneaxe, Cleavor, it always sets up rocks. I don't like the other hazard options, though, but I think this team is slightly better. Next is going to SJ's team. A pretty good team. Let me look at chat for a minute. Mimikyu does reward creativity. And throw it back to the Smeargle Sweep last season JJDL. SJ's team with Bundle, Cloaking, Heatran, Gliscor, Zarude, Regidrago, Alola, Diancie, Regieleki, and Girder. John once beat me in a just like a regular Gen 7 draft league with Girder, and it pissed me off. But Girder is a good Pokemon, actually. I don't know where I would rank it, though. Regieleki is okay. Removal on this team is just Regieleki, which is fine. You can run Boots, but you're gonna have to run Boots Bundle a lot. Which, I mean, if you're using Bundle as a Momentumon, then it is fine. But also, I feel like Bundle wants to do a lot of breaking on this team, and you are going to want to run Specs. So I'm not actually SJ. I love you, brother. I'm not a huge fan of this team. I just would like to see some more removal. Just for the simple fact you have a bundle and you don't want to have to run Boots every single week. I do like Gliscor on this team. I do like Zarude as well. Regidrago, also Nuke's Pokemon. I would give this team probably a 6.5, just because I don't like the removal options. Speed tiers, though, are pretty decent. It's Bundle into Zarude at 105, I believe. Regieleki, obviously 200 speed, so I don't even really count that Pokemon sometimes, but you have to prep for it. If you have like a pretty like electric spam weak team. Next, we're gonna go into the worst team on the fucking any draft, John's team. Defog Girder does not fucking count, guys. If your removers are Regieleki, Rapid Spin, and Defog Girder, that does not count. That does not count. I'm sorry. John Jr., ass, horrible, bad at drafting, bad player. Not John actually has a pretty good team. Terapagos, Grin, Lottie, Lando T, King Gambit, Clefable is pretty fucking good. I'm not a huge fan of King Gambit, but that mon is good on this team. Chestnut, being the fighting type, isn't my favorite when you don't have a fire type, but you do have a Lando T to help break those steals. That's what I meant by that. Tentacruel is nice for Rapid Spin, and we all know John. He drafts one remover, and he only brings Rapid Spin or Defog on that mon every single week that it is brought. So we all know if you see a Tentacruel, John's gonna be running Rapid Spin. Spoiler alert. I do think, though, this team is very, very good. U-turn from Grin, you have Baton Pass Lottie if you really want to run that. U-turn Lando is nice. Clefable is nice on this team as well. I like the hazard options with spikes. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Chat. Does Chestnut get spikes? Someone answer me real quick while I'm yapping. Rapid Spin Terapagos is also a remover, but guys, have you seen Terapagos builds? I think you guys have seen Terapagos builds. We don't see a lot of Rapid Spin Terapagoses, but it can come into play with this type of team. I do wish Lottie still learned Defog for this. Chestnut does have spikes, nice. So I like this team a little bit more knowing that Chestnut does have spikes, because John will definitely utilize that. And then he has Rocks, Clefable, Rocks, Gambit, Rocks, Lando, like Spikes, Grin, obviously, with T-Spikes, regular Spikes. I do like this team. I'm going to give John's team an 8.5. If I'm being serious. If I'm not being serious, it gets a fucking 1. Next team, we have Khan and the Yanma Blues. I've known Khan for a while, actually. I feel like Khan was in one of like my early leagues I was in. And I believe John made this logo like fucking 9 years ago or some shit, like forever ago. I could be wrong. I could definitely be yapping right now. And they have a really, really good Sun team. I would have preferred the Sun team to have Walking Wake on it with Gouging Fire, but Gouging Fire, Zapdos, Rillaboom, Prim, Azel, Venusaur, Donphan, Torkoal, Registeel, Grafaiai is very, very good.
I like this team a lot, actually. I think Azelf with the Sun team is going to be putting in work. I really wanted Azelf on my draft, but it was better on a different team. I have Gathering Fire Sun. Fucking spoiler alert. John will talk about it. Rillaboom with Gathering Fire is obviously very nice. You can run some pretty cool sets with that, pairing with Grassy Seed. Prim is nice on a Sun team. Azelf just nukes everything. Rocks on Azelf. Rocks on Donphan. Rocks on Torkoal. Rocks on Registilt. Just really, really good options for Rocks. Good momentum with Zapdos, Rillaboom, Prim, Azelf. I think Grafaiai gets momentum. I could be wrong. But I do like this team a lot. Rabbitspin Donphan is nice. Rabbitspin Torkoal. A real Sun team with a real Sun team, real Sunsetter. Was it Team Plasma had the Ninetales Sun team, which I think Ninetales is bad Sunsetter. I'm gonna give this team a 9. I like this team a lot. I think this Sun team is made perfectly. Maybe having Wake would have made me give it a 9.5, to be completely honest. I think Gathering Fire Sun is going to run fucking rampant in this type of format. Next, we're going to be talking about It's Whatever, our boy Antonio and the Sacramento Blings. It's such a fire logo that John made. Garchomp, Cinderace, Petronunt, Keldeo, Azumarill, Shaman, Uxie, the Dunsparce, and Hitmontop. I think this team is like a picture perfect team in the sense of it looks nice on paper. Removal is not there, however. I'm yapping. Cinderace is a great remover, and you have a good spin blocker. You also have Rabbit Spin Hitmontop. But I do like this team a lot. I think Chomp with Stealth Rock and Spikes is going to be very, very nice for Antonio. Uxie with Rocks, the Dunsparce with Rocks, like speed tiers with this team. I haven't been talking about speed tiers that much, but I've talked about speed tiers a little bit. I do like the speed tiers on this team with Keldeo, Cinderace, Garchomp being 3 fastest Pokemon. I do like your bulky options in Shaman, the Dunsparce, Uxie, even Azumarill. Like Azumarill is one of the better fairies in this generation, so I do like this team a lot. Petronunt being bulky as fuck too. Like this team is pretty perfect in my eyes. Well, Psychics do go crazy with this team in No Dark. That is true. Psychics do go kind of crazy, depending on this, because like Psychic types usually learn Shadow Ball, obviously, so can hit that Uxie pretty hard. But a Spidef Uxie can take some hits. I do think this team though is definitely a 9. I think Antonio. I think Antonio ranked it pretty high. I ranked yours an 8.5. SJ's was like a 6.5. No, I ranked SJ 7. Buffcap 6.5. This one was 7. SJ was 6.5. You were 8.5. Con was a 9. And I'm doing 9 on Antonio. I think Ant's team is pretty picture perfect, to be honest. Psychic types just kind of go in. Next, we're going to be talking about our boy, Lego My Ego, Corey. I've known Corey for fucking forever. Went to school with him. Goldingo, Lando Eye, Hamrot, Raging Bull, Ogerpon is fucking phenomenal. I think that is great. Especially leave a like.
We're 19. We have 27 viewers. Something's wrong.
Come on. Hammer on Goldingo is a nice pairing, obviously, because Rapid Spinners cannot Rapid Spin into Goldingo. That is a fucking ghost type. Lando with this team also just forces so much prep. Raging Bull Ogerpon is nice. You have different options, like Hamrot just sets up spikes with Cecil's Edge. The only thing I don't like about this team is that your rocker is just Landorus. So if you would have had a different rocker, that would have definitely... If you would have had another reliable rocker, that would have made this team so much better, because then you are forcing Landorus to click Stealth Rocks a turn where you really just want to either pivot out with U-turn or just nuke something with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Psychic, whatever you want to call it. Especially if you're like even a bulk up set, you can't run rocks on that. So I do like this team. I think it has good momentum as well. I think you were lacking some areas like rocks. Like I said, I do like the spikes on this team. You also have Hatterene with Goldingo, so you don't really have to worry about getting hazard stacked yourself, and you have a good remover in Blastoise. You have a webs user and a Araquanid if you really want to run webs. Speed tiers are pretty good on this team as well. Is it just fastest Mon Ogerpon? Fastest Mon Salazzle. I do believe in Salazzle. I think Salazzle is a good Pokemon. A lot of people shit on that guy, but I think this team is probably... I would give this team a 7.5. I just think you need another rocker. So 7.5. And also, did It's Whatever have a steel type? It's Whatever did not have a steel type, which I think is fine when he has a Azumarill to switch into fire types, a Petronunt to switch into fire types, and also fire types don't hit him that hard. You have a Garchomp switching to fire types. I'm saying like it's fine. I'm saying it's fine. I think it's fine. He also, I'm just saying he doesn't have a weak. Like I meant the other way. He has a Petron for fairy types, okay, which is fine. I think his team is okay. I think his team is fine without the Steel type. If he was to put a Steel type on this team, I'm sure with drafting they probably thought about Steels were in better hands, like with different teams. Like did a Scizor get drafted, John?
I don't know.
A Scizor was not drafted, so maybe if you slap a Scizor on this team, it would have made it a little bit better. But I don't think I know how Ant plays. I think Ant will be okay without a Steel. Next, we're gonna go into Mountain Man with Meowscarada, Baxcalibur, Quaquaval, Thundee-Eye, Metagross, Clodsire, Incineroar, Weezingale, Mismagius, and Indeedee. I do like the Meowscarada, Baxcalibur, Quaquaval pairing. That is going to break so many teams. Quaquaval helps break Steels from Meowscarada and Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur can obviously hit those Steels with ground type moves. I will say there is a glaring fairy weakness, but he did patch that up pretty well with his picks. He got a Metagross, he got a Clodsire, he also got a Weezingale. So I think he patched it up pretty well. I will say if he does that, then he has to bring one of Clodsire, Metagross, and Weezingale every week, which I think is fine. I do like Thundee-Eye to help break on the special side. I do like the speed tiers as well on this team. Removal, does Weezingale get defog?
Yes.
Weezingale gets defog. Quaquaval Rapid Spin isn't the worst at all. I think that is fine, especially in a generation where Boots is the best item. I do like this team a lot. I think it adds Spikes, Meowscarada, Stealth Rock, Metagross, Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Clodsire. I give this team an 8.5. I like this team a lot.
Prove me wrong.
I like this team a lot. Mountain Man did a good job drafting. Next is going to be Dan Lex, the Blood Hungry Bidoof. I like that logo with Torn, Kyurem, another Torn Kyurem, Tinglu, Iron Moth, Gyapdos, Slowking, Tinkaton, Sinistcha, and Sandslash, Alola. Hazards on this team is pretty nice with Tinglu, with Stealth Rock Spikes. Other than that, you just have Stealth Rock Tinkaton, which I think is fine. Removal is going to be Sandslash, Alola, and that's it. The only thing I don't like about these Kyurem teams so far is that you have one remover, or no remover. I think the other team might have had one. I think on a Kyurem team with Torn, you would like to have another remover, but you're going to be running Boots Torn a lot. So I just don't like Kyurem having to run Boots. To be frank, my name's not Frank. Gyapdos is a very good Pokemon, very good momentum for this team as well. Hits incredibly hard. Great Scarf user, great Banded user. I think his team is pretty good. Slowking into Sandslash Alola is nice. I will say that. Adds another aspect to the team if they're having kind of a bad matchup in prep, and then they can run the Chili Reception team. I would give this team probably... I'm gonna go to my tried and true 7. I think this team is just middle, slightly better than mid, but it's not good enough to crack an 8 or a 9. I do like this team though. I think it can break pretty well. Offensive breaking physical breaking is nice with Gyapdos, but you're kind of relying on Gyapdos in that point. Tinkaton can hit hard, obviously, so can Tinglu. I would like another physical breaker on this team though, but I would give it a 7. I haven't looked at chat for a second.
All right, chat. I'll be back in a second. I'm so sorry that Obo is ruining.
We're almost done. We're almost done with these.
If anybody
last team.
If anybody wants to average out what Obo and I rank all these teams to get an average rating to see which division is the best drafters, feel free. By the way,
feel free. Next team is going to be a Sand team with Boulder and a Namorous. We have a Namorous, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Excadrill, Boulder, Como-O, Tyranitar, Rotom Heat, Decidueye, Tatsugiri, and not even saying that Pokemon. I like this team. I just don't like a Namorous being number 1 option in this format. But Boulder with Sand is nice. Rapid Spin, Excadrill, obviously. You have Defog, Decidueye, so good removal.
And
Tatsugiri, a good 5-point Rapid Spinner. That Pokemon's a lot better as a low-tier Terramon, but in this format, it also does pretty decent. I'm a big fan of Sand. Oh my god. Spikes, Ogerpon is nice. Rocks, T-Tart, very reliable. You have decent momentum. I like this team a lot. I don't think it's amazing, but I think with sand, you made a pretty good sand team. Like this is a really good sand team. So I give this team an 8 just because I like sand, and I think this team does well around sand. Next we have Eltrim.
I will say, this is my favorite team that we drafted.
Eltrim's?
This team goes insane.
So with Eltrim's team, I do see a big Snorlax. We see Roaring Moon, Annihilate, Necrozma, Glamora, Sandy Shocks, Skarmory, Vaporeon, Snorlax, Whimsicott, and Avalugg. Avalugg Rapid Spin, which is nice. Skarmory, Defog, Glamora, removal. Best removal we've seen so far. Annihilate is nice on the team with Roaring Moon. You have decent hazards because you have Glamora automatically. Just great. And you have the best spin blocker and best hazard blocker. Is that the right term? And Annihilate. So I do like this team a lot. And you have Sandy Shocks as well. This team just keeps getting better as I'm talking about it. Snorlax is nice. I don't think Snorlax is absolutely needed in a format where there's not many ghosts, but I do like Snorlax a lot. I'm gonna give this team a 9.5.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I haven't seen a 10 team yet.
If there is a 10
but-
team, it would be this one.
But this team is pretty close to a 10.
Yeah.
So next we're gonna go to Jamal's team.
Great.
So I will say, I was shitting on Jamal in chat very hard because brother sniped John with Iron Hands, took Weavile, Jirachi,
brother.
and then his next pick was Weezing and
Weezing and Vikavolt.
Vikavolt like round 4 and 5, which it doesn't matter in this format. Just I was like, what the fuck? But he did fix his team quite.
I will also
better.
say next week he's dropping Vikavolt and bottom 2 shitters for Hydreigon. So
Which is
it becomes
nice.
a lot better.
Yeah, it becomes a lot better. I do like this team a lot more now, with the transactions made and that he fixed his team a little bit. Rocks Rachi is very, very, very good.
Yo, real quick, shout out to Jamal. We made a mins and now
Yeah.
everything's good. And now I just want everybody to know the Team Magma chemistry way better than every other team. That's all I'll say about that.
Fucking yapper. Stealth Rock Swampert's nice. You have decent hazard options, Spikes Ogerpon as well. I'm big on having another spiker though on that type of team. You have a Vikavolt, which is nice with webs. I like this team. I think it is definitely close to a 7, but I don't think it's a 7. I'm gonna give it a 6.75. Jamal gets a special rating
Brother.
from Obo. I do think Eltrim's team is head and shoulders above everything else, other than maybe John and Ant's team. Cons. I think definitely top 3: Eltrim, Antonio, and Con.
All right, tag me in,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, good
Tag me.
teams, good teams. I think.
Give me my feedback. Give me my feedback, man.
I think Team Magma drafted pretty decently, but I think there's
Why don't we
there's some
find out how Team
shitters.
Stars drafted comparatively, huh? Oh God, buddy.
I'm getting old.
Any day. All right, guys. Sorry about that.
I gotta piss, man.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Team Star now. Let's see. We're gonna start over here with
Hospital V-Star.
who put 5:16 a.m. in the top right corner here. What? I can't get rid of it. Okay, there it goes. Okay, we're gonna talk about Armenia first. We've got Great Tusk, Latias, Volcarona, Jirachi, Azu, Incineroar, Clodsire, Decidueye, and Kilo. And I'm gonna start speeding up a little bit because I don't have a super long time to be able to stick around for stream. It's like maybe I can go until maybe 6 p.m. and I'd like to rank all these teams. So we're gonna start getting it a little bit. So Great Tusk, Latias, Volcarona, I like a lot. Volcarona breaks the grasses for Great Tusk. Latias is breaking. I don't understand Latias actually, but speed tier, I suppose. What am I missing? There's got to be something obvious. Great Tusk struggles with Psychic, so does Lati. I don't know. I don't understand Jirachi and Latias together necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily my favorite thing in the world, but you need a Steel type, so it's a good fairy resist, I suppose. Double speed tier with Volcarona, which I'm not the biggest fan of. We have Azu. Then Azu's really nice in general. Counters a lot of the top tier Pokemon. Incineroar, I feel like there could have been a better dark type because we had Volcarona. I don't necessarily love Incineroar on this team. Clodsire, I'm not a big fan of because you already have Great Tusk as a ground. I feel like there were definitely better poisons in that slot. Killer speed tier is nice. What's the thought process with Latias on this team?
Great Tuscalati, Volcarona. Nice.
What? No,
Great-
but what does Latias provide on top of Great Tusk? Like, what does it help with?
Decent speed tier, good bulk, special bulk. I like the typing, Dragon Psychic typing on that team. Adds good setup, adds good bulk, recovery,
I'm not being convinced.
I
I'm
just-
gonna
I
give
just
the
think-
team. I don't think it's bad, but there are some pieces that I would have moved around otherwise. Like I don't love Jirachi and Sinnoh or Cloudenside on this team, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Moving forward, who's putting high chat? Who is Smaster? Get out of here, man! You little goofball. Next up, we'll talk about Denali. We've got Meowscarada, Lando, Clefable, Infernape, Cyclizar, Metagross, Overqwil, Manaphy, and Poltegeist. This top to bottom is pretty fire. We've got Speed Tier Lando 101, Infernape 108,
Yes.
and then Meowscarada 123. No, Cyclizar 121, Meowscarada 123. So there's a little bit of a speed gap there for things to run Adamant, but it's not very often. It'll be like base 118s or something like that can run Adamant. Not even. No, I think the speed tier is covered. You have good spike stack with Overqwil. You have Stealth Rocks, Lando, Clefable, Spikes, Meow.
You said Denali.
Oh, Eden. I'm so sorry, Eden. Sorry, every time I see an Alomomola, I just instantly think Denali. Well, now that this is Eden, this team sucks and is bad. There's no Toxapex, so your belly's not full of sand, unfortunately. I mean, this is a good team. I don't think there's a lot super wrong with this team. I guess my only big gripe would be the only supreme, like really solid breaker right off the bat is Lando. I think Infernape's a bad breaker in this generation, or subpar, not necessarily bad. I think Meowscarada is really cool as a pivot and as utility, but I don't think I could necessarily count it as a breaker because it is still pretty weak even with Pro Team. So immediate breakers were a little lackluster, but past that, a really good team. I'll give it like an 8.5, we'll say, because it's still a really good team. Next up, we've got Keegan. Buddy tries to be me. Look at this. Terapagos, Grin, Lando. I'll be honest, I like my team a lot. I think Keegan's team is just another variant of my team. You could argue either one is better than the other. Raging Bolt is a Pokemon that I heavily considered with the build that I had, so I like it a lot on this team as well. And Raging Bolt plus Ogerpon in general, hey, that's my TCG deck, man. Big fan. Screamtail is a little passive, but I do like Screamtail. Lando breaks the steals, Arcanine breaks the steals. He doesn't deal with the ghost as well as I do, I'll say that much. Spiritomb as a secondary dark is fake. Grin's pretty cool. I mean, this is a good team. There's not much wrong with it. I'll give it like a 9. I think it's a really good team. Next up, we'll have the Poke Professor with Torn, Glowking backs. Again, I think the other teams were Torn, Kyurem, Slowking, so we have some different forms here.
Yeah.
Can we get a TCG vid? I actually did a stream for TCG, by the way. If you guys want to check that one out. But this team, I like the top 3 Pokemon a lot. Torn, Slowking, backs. The rest of the Pokemon feel a little underwhelming. Just straight 11s and 10s. We don't really have any like solid next up Pokemon. But it's not like horrible. Blastoise for the spin, I understand that. Heracross is another breaker, not bad. Shares a similar speed tier with backs though. But can help you break fairies on top of that, which is pretty nice. Shaman, water resist, ground resist, I suppose. I guess because we didn't really have. I mean, we had Heracross. Shaman, I don't really understand Shaman. Base 100 speed tier, I suppose. Rotom, we're like tripling on that speed tier. Backs, Heracross, Rotom, they're all within 2 points of each other. Good momentum, decent fairy resist. They can see you on stream, by the way, just so you know. Donphan is second. It just feels like I like the top 3 a lot. And I understand Blastoise, Heracross, but these I don't necessarily understand or really like. And it feels, the team overall feels a little underwhelming power-wise compared to the rest because of that. So I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hi, Jeff. Next up, we're going to look at Garchomp, Enam... What? Garchomp, Enam, Cinderace, Rotom-Wash, Scizor. These top 5 are ridiculous once together. Get out of here, Jericho. These top 5 are crazy together. Lost. I like this top 5 a lot. This is awesome. This looks so fun, like a heavy momentum-based team. You have Hazard Stack. You have heavy momentum. You have a lot going for you here. I like this top 5 a lot. I'm not too big of a fan. Is this...
It's just empty.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not too big of a fan of the bottom half of the team, though. It feels like just you got some shitters to fill certain roles. You like spent all your budget up here, and then kind of these guys kind of fell off. Was that you?
DoorDash is here.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Top 5 look great. I'm not super big on these next 5 Pokemon.
I think. I didn't know she could do that.
I
do. This team. Me and Kiko cooked with this team. Did we give him a lot of options?
I mean, top 5 is crazy. You can bring most of these every single
He
week.
definitely did Rotom Scizor. I love Qwilfish Hisui on this team. I like Sinistra. The Coleslaw Colossal is kind of random, but I like this team a lot. I think this team is so good.
Yeah, top half looks crazy. I'm not super big on the bottom half, but you can bring them all. Like, you're gonna bring top 5 plus 1 usually. So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10.
Who's to say?
Next up-
Hold on. You gave this team an 8 after calling it so good. This
The
team,
top 5 is crazy, but I don't like the bottom 5.
this team is like 9.5, almost 10.
I would go 8.5. I don't think more than that because I really don't like the bottom half. I really don't like the bottom half at all. Yeah, I say 8 or 8.5, which is good. I feel like I've not given out very many 8s. I feel like most have been 7. So
you just yapped on that one.
all right, buddy.
That was bad.
Next up, we've got another Kyurem Slowking team, but this time it's called Dango instead of Torn.
I think.
Go ahead.
You'd rather be here now.
Okay. What would you change the bottom half for? I'd have to look into it. Like I said, this is just kind of first impressions. Yeah, I exactly. I don't like the quality of these Pokemon. I feel like these could just be better Pokemon. Like, I feel like this could have been Overquill, and we could have downgraded. We could have just went to 9 Pokemon. We could have went like Overquill, upgraded Meloetta, upgraded Colossal. Like, it just feels like these Pokemon are very lackluster. None of them, they fill roles, but they don't fill them well. But next up, we've got I already said top 3: Bramble Gas, Glamora, Palmot, Rabombi, Tinglu, Jugu, and Beartix. So, again, a lot of these mons I'm not super thrilled with the quality of. I like Kyurem Slowking. We have Goldango as another special breaker. It seems like this team is like extremely specially offensive. There are damn near no physical threats. Kyurem can be. Is Bramble the next highest attack stat? Palmot might be. Maybe. And Tinglu's not got a bad attack stat, but no real physical breakers necessarily. Really lackluster on that front.
Hey, don't sleep on Beartic, brother. You always sleep on Beartic.
I'm heavily sleeping on Beartic. Beartic is ass. No, go ahead.
Fucking yeah, bro.
Go ahead.
God.
Yeah, this team just lacks immediate physical offense. Yeah, I was trying to convince myself otherwise, but no, this team lacks like really good offensive Pokemon. Kyurem can be mixed, like I said, but other than that, nothing's really great.
Beartic is great for weathering this.
Beartic's ass. I'm giving this team a 5. I don't really like this team. Sorry, Clydes. Next up, we're gonna have Bope. Hold on.
We've got a lot of backlash on this.
Next up, we have Bope. I'm not gonna speak too heavy on this because there has been a lot of backlash for this team, but it's hard to give Bestmon Hammerot anything higher than a 6, man. I'm gonna keep it a stack. It's pretty difficult. You've got good momentum with like Zapdos, Keldeo. I'm a big fan of Boulder. You got good spike stack. Can you close that door all the way, please? Beartic is a mini Baxcalibur is crazy.
No, he's good.
Bestmon Hammerot or Zapdos it's a tough look though. I'm gonna give this team a 6. And I'm not gonna speak on it too extensively because there have been the great debates of Bope's team. Did I say 6 or 5?
You said 6.
I changed my mind. 5.
Fucking
Next up, we're gonna talk about Bic with Latios, Weavile, Quack. Big fan of that top 3, and then we rounded out with Mamoswine, PZ, Tentacruel, Skarmory, Dusknoir, and Rotom.
Dusknoir.
So yeah, Bope did get this shorter than a 6. Obo's just not a good captain. It is what it is. Nah. I'm sorry. We got a lot of physical breakers here. Weavile, Quack, Mamo. Special breakers are extremely lackluster. It's just PZ Latios.
Moth has 140 special attack.
Where's Iron
Oh, I
Moth?
thought you were. I thought you were talking about Lunar.
Would you like to point Iron Moth out on this?
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Lunar. Hey, my bad. That's on me.
Would you like to point it out?
It's on the next.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so special attackers are very lackluster.
Bro, Sylveon, he's so much you just skipped over that mon.
Yeah. I mean, you've got good momentum, you've got good speed tiers, good physical breakers, but your special offense isn't very good. You have
Lottie, PZ, Sylveon.
Nah, Sylveon, Lottie, PZ.
Rotom is also slipped on.
What's his special attack?
105.
Yeah,
And it-
exactly.
and it
So
just completely
it's
beat
not an immediate
ground types.
breaker. I'm saying immediate breakers. PZ's a breaker. Latios is a breaker. You think Rotom's a breaker?
Yes.
No.
Can be.
No. The answer is no, dog. I'm gonna give it because I like the top 3. So I think Bic had something similar to Latios, Weavile, Quack before. I'm almost positive this dude had this exact core last season or something similar 2 seasons ago. I'm gonna give it 7. Nice and safe. Next up, we've got Lunar, Roaring Moon. I like this team a lot. This is one of the teams I've looked at. Roaring Moon, Iron Moth, Gliscor,
I will
Impo. Actually, why don't you go ahead and before I finish?
I will say Lunar cooked very much so with this team. I did like the Gliscor and Polion is what they wanted initially, and then they cooked with everything else.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
Are you good? You done? All right. Roaring Moon, Iron Moth, Gliscor, Impo, Annihilate. Those top 5 are awesome. Serena is not a real Pokemon. Uxie, Ninetales, Alola, Thundy T, and Greedent. The Ninetales Alola feels extremely random on this team. I don't necessarily understand that, but other than the random Ninetales and I guess the 1 point Greedent because you have 1 point left over, I like this team a lot. Stack into Roaring Moon I think is the way to go. Moth can help you, break steals, break fairies for Roaring Moon, which is awesome. You got Impo for a steal, which is nice. Annihilate is a nice glue piece to block hazards. Being removed is pretty awesome as well. I think this team meshes together really well. Again, I don't really understand the Ninetales Alola on this team though. I guess it's literally just for Veil into Roaring Moon, but I feel like that is extremely you can play around that extremely easily.
It's also good for Annihilate. I know you love Veil.
Yeah, I feel like you can play around that extremely easily. Where's this Serena hate coming from? So many things can abuse dual screens, but I feel like having Ninetales is a deterrent. Like Ninetales Alola is a bad Pokemon, and if you don't have more than if your only way to abuse Ninetales is by abusing the screens, I don't necessarily like that because you can play around screens very easily. There's Psychic Fangs, Brick Break, Defog can remove it. You can just taunt the Ninetales. Ninetales is very frail in general, and you're kind of throwing up a turn just getting up in a Roar Veil when you're a bad Ice type as is. I like Ninetales if there's something to abuse it otherwise, like a good Ice type like Baxcalibur or something. But in general, I feel like it's just wasted points here.
Pokebaldi is a good point, and also lets them get Weather Ball, which is nice.
I guess Thunder getting Weather Ball is
very
cool.
very niche, but it is nice.
Overall, I like the team. I would drop the Ninetales. I give it like an 8.5. I think this team is better. Again, Lost. I love your team. I think this team is better just because of these bottom 5 Pokemon, the quality of these bottom 5. If you change this up, I think your team is like a 9. But for the time being, the only thing I don't like on this team is the Ninetales. So I'm going to give this team, 8.5?
Yeah.
8.5. Okay. Next up, we've got Star. So Star hates this team, by the way. He hates the Pokemon on it. He hates Hydreigon. He hates Ogerpon. He loves Bundle, though. And this is a team that I would draft for sure. I don't know why we have random ass 3-point Ampharos for no reason.
That was Eduardo's doing.
I talked to Star about this, but past the random Ampharos, this team's fantastic. You've got a lot of momentum, Bundle, Treads, Ogerpon, Hydreigon. You got Thundy. You got Thundy to break waters for Bundle. Ogerpon to break waters for Bundle. Ogerpon plus Bundle works very well together. You have Spin on Treads for Ogerpon, which, to be fair, is your only spinner. So it's a similar thing to what I said earlier, where you're really forcing Treads to come to be that spinner. Don't love that aspect, but past that, this is such a good team. Not a lot wrong with this team. You have special breakers. You have physical breakers. You have good walls. I think this is a 9 out of 10. I think the only real downside. Go ahead.
I will say, I really do like having Treads as the only spinner comparative to Great Tusk. I feel like Treads goes in that role a little bit better because Treads is a more utility. You know what I mean? I'd be more comfortable running Treads spin every week than Tusk spin. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why we also gave him Treads with Hearth Flame instead of giving Tusk Hearth Flame, because we prefer Treads Hearth Flame. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the team. I just think.
Give it a 9.
Yeah, I think
that's your
really
first
good.
9. Like on mine.
On this 8, one, yeah. Next up, we've got Hands, Ogerpon, Necro, T-Tar, Excadrill, Mistmag, Fez, Mandibuzz, and Volcanion. This seems pretty good, actually.
We've seen a lot of Wellspring Sand.
We've seen a lot of Wellspring Sand, which I actually like it. I like Necro on this. Is Necro's only... Remind me if I'm wrong, because I might be. Is Necro's only form of recovery this gen Moonlight? I think so, right? Chat. Let me know if I'm wrong. Is Necro's only form of recovery this gen Moonlight? Because that really dictates what I say right now.
I got you. Doesn't get Recover. It gets Moonlight, obviously. Doesn't get Roost.
Yeah, I didn't get Roost. So if it doesn't get Recover, I'm not too big of a fan.
It's Morning Sun.
I'm not super big on Necro in the sun because you don't have recovery really, which is going to be really hard to work around. I don't love Necro in the sand at all, but I like Ogerpon Sand. Hands is really cool to be able to... I mean, Hands is just such a good Pokemon in general, man. I don't know how necessarily it abuses Excadrill. I mean, Excadrill is a fairy resist for it. I guess Hands can break the waters for Excadrill that it might have a little bit of trouble with, which is nice. This team is going to struggle breaking grasses very heavily. It's going to struggle breaking grasses. You have Fez. and Volcanion, but you don't even want to switch Volcanion in on the grasses. Yeah, grasses are going to give this team a lot of trouble, actually. But you have good hazards. You have Necro, T-Tar, Excadrill, Spikes, Ogerpon. You have... I don't think Fez gets T-Spike. I think that might be it. You have Defog on Mandibuzz. You have Spin on Excadrill. Overall, this team's fine. I'm just not too big of a fan of Necro on this type of team. And I also think, in general, you're going to struggle a lot with grasses. And even waters, to an extent. Waters are going to be... I mean, you have hands. I forgot Ogerpon. Grasses are going to be the big thing. So, I'm going to say this team is a 7.5 because of the grass point and because I don't like Necro on this team. And because, this isn't your fault because you had the 15th pick, but also the lack of a real number 1 option. Hands is good, but Tough is the number 1 option in this deck. But that's not to your fault. As far as things you can fix, though, the grass thing really, and I just don't think Necro is good on sand. And then lastly,
the best Sun team we've seen.
The best you could do.
The best Sun team we've seen so far.
Yo, this is the best you could do. Gouging.
Hey, who let Obo get this team? Thank you, Pokemon.
Gouging Wake, obviously tried and true in this type of format. I mean, not tried and true. We've never done this format, but on paper, good in this format. I love Rillaboom into Sun teams this generation. Muckalola. Why did you pick Muckalola so early? Why was he like?
It didn't. I just like Muckalola, man.
I know you.
I love Muckalola.
Is that a real Sunsetter on your team?
Yes,
a real one.
Yes.
I also really like Andy Shocks next to Sun. That was actually something, if not Zapdos, that I was considering if I got Gouging Fire. I talked to Obo about this earlier. Halucha's ass. That's not a real Pokemon. Halucha's horrible. I think that Pokemon sucks.
With Rillaboom, it enables it so much. Especially on a team that has Gouging Fire and Walking Wake. You're fucking bad. You're fucking bad.
Let me get my point across, man. It's just so weak, and it has to rely on setup. And in such an offensive meta, it doesn't have the opportunity.
Halucha sleeps.
Halucha is bad this generation.
Dude, I think on this team, it is so perfect because if Gouging Fire, it breaks for Gouging Fire or Wake, or it can sweep when Gouging Fire or Wake break.
Dude,
Rillaboom breaks
you're giving me a fucking migraine.
Prim Shocks breaks for it.
I think our Sun team also has Prim. I like Prim because it's not super reliant on water moves necessarily. Obviously, Water plus Fairy is very difficult to switch into, but you can use it more as a pivot with Flip Turn, and Fairy is just a very strong stab in general. So I like that on a Sun team. Frostlass for Spikes for Spike.
Just a good speed tier once in, and also Ghost type in a format where you can spam Ghost moves.
And then Orthworm. Oh, dude, why didn't I think of last slot? What an awful pick, man. What an awful pick. So, let me get this straight. You went into this and you said, Gouging Fire. Not weak to Fairy, but still, obviously, a Fire that's not resistant. Walking Wake. Muckalola, Poison that's not resistant to Fairy. Hawlucha. And then fucking Fairy resist Orthworm was what you decided on.
I just really wanted another Hazard Setter and a Ground Immunity.
I mean, this seems fine. I'm like I said,
John,
obviously this is super biased because I hate Orthworm and Hawlucha.
Lower than an 8, you are horrible.
I hate Orthworm and Hawlucha. I think there's obviously some things that you need to fix on this team. I think you need a good Fairy switch in. I think you need. I mean, your team is pretty reliant on Sun right now. 11 out of 10.
Thank you, Baldy.
I think this team, dude, like a 3.
Say something bad. I give you an 8.5.
I think it's like.
I think an 8. I think an 8 is a good number.
Like I like the Gouging, Wake, Rillaboom, Torkoal. I think you could have went a different direction than Muck. I like Andy Shocks. You're also, you know what's super ironic actually? Nah, you know what? While we're here, you know what's ironic? You know what's ironic?
9 ground weaknesses.
You drafted 9 ground weaknesses, and you're the type of dude who always says, "Man, I hate when people act like Rillaboom covers up all the ground weaknesses." And look where we are, Owen.
Hold on, I like list all the mons. Yeah, you like my team.
7.5 out of 10.
Yeah. All right, now we can talk about
the
worst team.
The worst team.
Since Central's on here, so it's automatically the best.
Did we already
team.
rate your team? What team are you on, Faye? Oh no, we haven't yet. We're doing Rocket right now.
Time for John to poop on my bad team for the 3rd season.
All right, we've got Great Tusk Latios. What's the Great Tusk Latios?
I love it.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Manaphy, Empoleon, Serp, Talon, Lokix, Hoopa, Diancie, Weezing, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink. You go ahead and start talking about it.
I do like Tusklati. I do like it a lot. That sounded like a nursery rhyme. I like Great Tusklati. I do like it a lot. Empoleon. Okay, Stealth Rocks. It's Roost. Superior can force a lot of breaking potential and can just sweep late game. I like Talonflame as well. Low kick seems kind of forced. Hoopa seems kind of forced. Pikachu go to pick. Diancie. I like the hazards with Empoleon and Diancie, but I think Hoopa, low kicks are pretty forced. I think Superior wasn't needed, but I think it does well on this team. Manaphy is goated as well with Great Tusk. I do like that. This team's a little odd. This is hard for me to rate, to be honest. Speed tiers are what, fastest Monlati? For 111. No, Talonflame.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Tom.
I like this team, but I don't like it enough to put it higher than a 7. So I'm going to give it a 7.
I think John Roaster teams unnecessarily, but I'll take it. Yeah, I mean that's kind of also the names to it because I'm not gonna rate my team super highly off the bat probably. But so my problem with this team, Zodiac, you're right. I'm gonna roast your team again, which is most of this stream, but it feels like these three are like the good Pokemon, and then you have a bunch of dudes who are like super mid, 12, 11, 10, 9,
I might
9,
put this
8.
down to a 6.5.
I know it's biased, and it's just the way that I draft. I'm not a fan of teams that have like mono mid Pokemon, and then like these. I don't even think these Pokemon work necessarily super well together. I don't know. Like, what's the Great Tusk and Manaphy thought process? Like, Manaphy beats Waters, I suppose. Like, Great Tusk doesn't necessarily have to deal with. Like, most of them, I guess. I still don't understand Latias Great Tusk necessarily, but it's just a bunch of mid Pokemon with Great Tusk, Lati, Manaphy. I like it fills roles, but it's just like so underwhelming. I'll give it a 6. I don't love the team. I'm sorry, Zodiac. I'm sorry.
All right, Central, my beloved.
Central.
10 out of 10.
This seems pretty good actually. Meowscarada, Enam, Lando T, Glim, Rotomosh, Azelf, Iron Crown, Incineroar, and Brambleghast.
No, honestly, I think this team's actually really, really good. All jokes aside, Meow with spikes, Glamora best hazard setter, Azelf with rocks. You have good momentum with U-turn Meowscarada, U-turn Lando, Volt Switch Rotom, U-turn Azelf, Parting Shot Incineroar. Brambleghast is really good. I think that Pokemon's goated. Make sure you watch my Week 1 match versus D-Ray with Brambleghast as my thumbnail. I do like the speed tiers on this team as well. I think this team is.
What did you give Zodiac? 7, I think.
No, 6.5. I dropped it to 6.5. I would say Central's team is pretty perfect in the sense of it has all of the roles. I do like Iron Crown on this team a lot. You have really good ground switches. I like this team a lot. I'm not a huge fan of Enamorous, but Enamorous in this format may break very well, like break teams very well. I'm giving this team a 9. I love Central, and this team drafted very well.
Who's it the best rated team so far?
I gave 9.5 to the team on it was the one team on
Wagon?
yours. Yeah.
Oh no, not mine. Oh, you're talking about Eltrim.
Yeah.
I think the best team that we both rated was Wagon Fruit.
We can both go. We can go back at the end of the stream and dictate what the best teams are. I'm about to see. I can see the team I think is definitely the worst team.
I don't think it's as good as you do, but I do still think it's a good team. I just think the teams that I've given a 9 are better than this team, so I'll say an 8. I'll say an 8. I don't think it's bad, Central. I just think I like other teams better. That's the reasoning. Next up, we got Wawalt H. Can we get some H's in the chat for Wawalt? Roy Moon, Lanad, Heatran, Ogerpon, the best lead in draft, Gardevoir, Heracross, Dodon, Tentacruel, Houndstone, Electrode, Hisui. So we've got 119 speed tier, 110 speed tier, 101. It's another team with a bunch of mid guys, man.
I see my main concern with this team is that your only real ground resist is you have a ground immunity in Lando and you have Heracross as your ground resist. I think ground spam goes crazy against this team. I like this team though. I think it is a decent team, but I don't like it more than a lot of teams I've seen. Walt. I've known Walt for a long time too. That is an APA showdown staple coach. I do think it is a bunch of random mons, like John said. After like even Ogerpon Cornerstone's kind of random. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just really wanted to stick around what you're saying.
You have more to say than I did.
I do think the removal on this team is just Tentacruel. So not the greatest, but I do like hazard options in Heatran, Lando, Ogerpon, the Dunsparce. I think you have hazards on lock. I love Electrode Hisui. Trode is really good. Decent team, but I think ground spam.
We're gonna be done by 6, by the way. So Yeah, so you're yapping.
I would give this team probably a 6.5, 7.
I'd say 7. I could meet you in the middle and say 7. Next up,
My
we're gonna talk
week one
about
opponent.
Zombie. Guys, I'll be honest. I don't even want to rate this guy's team.
I can smell how bad the team is from through the fucking screen.
Grin, Zapdos, Treads, Ogerpon. Treads, Ogerpon, by the way. Dragonite, Mesprit. Something just fell. Are you okay? Can you check? Can you open the door and check on her real quick? Mesprit, Weezing, Aloe, Hariyama, and Ditto. Are you okay? So this team's actually pretty good, as much as I hate to admit it. Grin's pretty nice, good momentum, good hazards. You have Treads as a remover, which helps Ogerpon. It's another... Oh, you have Weezing as a defire. So second remover for Ogerpon. This team's fine. It's... I can't give Zombie any higher than... Excuse me, I can't give Zombie any higher than an 8 because I'm a massive Zombie hater. How come you dodge Zombie in the schedule? Zombie's the one person I wanted to play, man. I give it an 8. I might be able to be convinced at 8.5. No higher, though, just because of the coach. Next up, we've got Alfan, who's notorious for drafting teams exactly like this. Arcalodon, Keldeo, Thunderbird, Scizor, Pelipper, Sylveon, Overqwil, Bearskewda, Decidueye, Quack. It's just a bad rain team. Rain's just bad this generation. It's a bad rain team. Just because, not because it's just bad rain team. I give this like a 4.
Oh god,
like this team stinks.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Best on Arcalodon, but it's how Alfan always drafts. I always rank him like 47th in BRs. This is probably the worst team we've seen so far.
What did you rank Zoms?
Like an 8, 8.5.
I'd say yeah, like an 8. For Alfan,
I give it a 4.
I would give it like a 2. I'm not gonna lie.
Was everything okay? Or she
Yeah, she just dropped one of Kayla's toys. I would give this like a 2. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of this team. I think it is definitely. I mean, Alfan could be a good player. I don't know, but I just think this team. I guess with a lot of Sun teams running around, it's okay, but. Sorry,
I can't wait for Alfan to win anyway. Well, this is based solely on the team. It's not on the player.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot different if it was based on the player.
I think based off the team, this is a 2.
I gave it a 4, and that's the lowest rating I've given so far. Just because like it can still function. But
I haven't given anything lower than a 5.
I think Rain is super bad this generation. Next up, we've got a very similar team to D-Rays in BBR, which is not good because I hate D-Rays team in BBR. Same top 3: Goldingo, Hammerot, Gliscor. Then we have Mew, Azu, Ogerpon, Raikou, Cyclizar, Masquerain, Muk, Torracat. This has the same problem that I have with D-Rays team in BBR, in the fact that Goldingo is your best breaker. You have Ogerpon too, which maybe you could argue that Ogerpon's a better breaker. Raikou's not super strong. You don't have very strong Pokemon into Hazard Stack, and like I don't like that. I like Hazard Stack with super strong supporting pieces, super strong breakers. And this team just doesn't have that. I really dislike this team. This team is also not very good, in my opinion. Torracat, yeah. You just rated Zombies based on player. Look, I rated it lower based on player. We're not rating them any higher based on player. What can I say? This team, I heavily dislike, but it's better than Alfan's, and it's still usable. So I'll give it a 5. Maybe I might even move. This is one of my least favorite teams. I'm going to move Alfan's to a 3, and I'm going to put this one at a 4. I really dislike this team.
I also don't like it very much, just in the same sense that John said. If you have Hazard Stack, you should have better breakers. Belly Drum, Azumarill, and Ogerpon are your main breakers. So
Goldingo is the best breaker
yeah,
here. 133 special attack.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I would give this team a 5, probably.
All right, the hate is strong. Hey man. Next up, I gotta know who changed Chef's logo on this document. You're banned. I told him he could not be the best leads in draft, and here we are. Terapagos, this team is just my BBR team, but better. I like this team a lot. Terapagos, Latios, Weavile, Annihilate, paired it with Swampert, Shaman, Tinkaton, Electros, Quillfish, and then he had 3 points left, so we got Crocolore and Greedent. I mean, this team pretty much fills all of the holes. Like, my top 3 BBR guys plus Terapagos is fucking nuts. Who let this guy get this?
No,
to be honest,
this team is one of the best teams, hands down.
This team is. Guess you're banned. Goodbye, Central. Bye bye. Everybody say bye, Central.
Wait, no.
This team is crazy. I'm gonna give it like a 9. I think this team's really, really good. I think it fills every role that it really. The only thing I will say though, the only thing that I don't like about this team, I'm gonna warn you about this as well, Chef, because I've made some changes to my BBR team because I found this to be true as well. Your Dark and Ghost Resist are a little bit lackluster because you're not really going to be using Terapagos as a pivot. Your Fighting type is Annihilate, and your Dark type is Weavile. So maybe you'll make some transactions like move Electros, Crocodile, and Greedent for like a secondary Dark type. Like what I did in BBR. And actually, I think it would work out perfectly points-wise if it's not picked up. I moved some Pokemon and I got Overflow as a secondary Dark and Ghost Resist. So just something to think about. I think that's really the main problem with this team. And the only other problem that I can see is your only remover is Terapagos. But past that, it's a really good team. I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, I think Chef cooked with this. I like Chef's team a lot. I just think, no, I'm going backwards. I like Electros. I love Bullfish as low tier picks. Tinkaton is nice. I give this team a 9.5. I think this is one of the best teams drafted. I don't think it is the best, but I think it is top 4.
I think, which is fine. Yeah, just be careful because I love Tinkaton too. I know you're also a Tinkaton spammer. I love Tinkaton. It looks like it's gonna get overwhelmed very, very quickly if you rely on it as your sole Dark Resist. And obviously not Ghost Resist. It's not what you meant, but yeah. So I think it'll get overwhelmed very quickly. So I wouldn't want to drop you because I used it bad, or because I wanted to use it so bad. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, Darks are spooky. I mean, that's the nature of Latios, Weavile, Annihilate. Darks are just spooky. Next up, we've got Smaster, Garchomp, Bundle, King Gambit, Rillaboom, Hatterene, Hawlucha, Blastoise, Alfan, Oricorio, Grafai, and Meowth. This team is scary, man. This team is very,
And it
very
has
good.
Hawlucha on it, and you think it's a good team?
Well, besides Hawlucha, this team is very,
is
very
so
good.
Hawlucha's so good.
I will say Rillaboom, Garchomp's a little weird, though. Because you're going to be Does it get Stomping or High Horsepower? It doesn't get High Horsepower. It's not a horse. It's a dog. So, I don't love Rillaboom plus Garchomp. But otherwise, I think this team's very, very good. You cover your roles very well. You have good momentum. You're a little weak to Fairy. You have Steel, Caparaja, and Grafai as your poison. And then Steel King Gambit, which isn't a Fairy resist necessarily. I mean, there are some glaring weaknesses with this team. Yeah, I think there are a couple of glaring weaknesses. But Rillaboom is a little bit weird. Lack of Fairy resist is a little tough. And you have primarily physical breakers, not special breakers. The more I talk, the more I dislike this team,
6.5.
actually.
Yeah, the more you talk, the more I'm giving it a 6.5.
Both appreciate the mascot. Oh, yeah, he picked me out. No, shout out to Smaster. I didn't even see that. Shout out. That being said, your team's like I liked it, but the more I talked, the more I disliked it.
Very weak. Garchomp being with Rillaboom is odd. That's why I give it a 6.5.
But I do like Garchomp Bundle and King Gambit quite a bit together, and I think Rillaboom's nice here. It's just the pairing with Garchomp is super weird.
I feel
Rillaboom
like
Bundle's
Rillaboom
really
is
nice,
not
though.
If you take Rillaboom off and get switch team around,
And then
a little
switch around
bit, it would
Hawlucha
definitely
too.
be like an
Hawlucha's
8.5
awful
almost.
ass.
Yeah.
I want to give it a 7, so I'll give it a 7. You're gonna
If you
be
get a
stacked
real-
up on 7.
A real poison type that's not Grafai. Like,
I mean, Grafai gets Umbrooded, so I think that was the
Yeah,
thought process.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but next up we got Faye. Torn, Ogerpon, Rachi, Como. Good stars. Screamtail, Donphan, Rotom Heat, Muck, Mismag, and then Phil the Cramorant. So, what does this team struggle with? Let's see. We have. Warriors are waiving Chris Paul. Not even trading
yeah,
Chris
who had
Paul?
a 30 million guarantee.
I feel like all the caps get hit. I don't know what you're talking about. That seems not like what we're doing.
No,
that doesn't seem right.
That's crazy. We don't
That doesn't. Maybe I just need to get new captains. Shout out to SJ and Mountain Man. Their teams are fantastic,
I
right?
gave SJ pretty low.
He always drafts weird. Though.
I gave SJ a
but,
pretty low rating.
this team. I mean, the problem that I have with this team, like it's good. I like how things mesh together, but your breakers are a little bit lackluster. Overpon, Como are kind of the only real immediate breakers, and even then, dude, I think Donphan is stronger than, or just as strong as Ogerpon. I think they're both 120, but I might be mistaken. Ogerpon might be 130. But yeah, the breakers are a little bit lackluster, but you've got good momentum, you've got hazards. Pretty good outside of the lack of breakers. I'll give it an 8.
Nate, I don't really like. I love Muckalola, but I don't like I don't like how there's no breakers. I'm giving this 6.5.
Okay.
My yapping has went down because we need to hurry.
Yeah, we've got 3 teams left, and we gotta really hurry. We gotta finish this up. Ogerpon's tax 120. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Next up, Kyurem, Glowking, Quack, Ayamoth, Boulder, Crook, Skarmory, Florges, Serena, Persian. This team's fire. This team is gas, man.
I like this team.
I like this team a lot. Good
I like the
speed
slow
tiers.
draw a lot.
No removal at all. Quack. Not any reliable remover next to Moth. Kyurem's not my favorite. I know my team had a team very similar, I'm pretty sure, with Moth, Kyurem, and I think Tauren with no removal. But past that, that's really the only downside I can super see on this team. You have good special breakers, good physical breakers, good hazards, good. I guess a lack of momentum, but this team is very, very good. Just I don't love the single spinner next to Kira Moth.
I would definitely say more momentum, and also I would have liked maybe Serena Persian turn into a Sandslash Alola.
Oh, Serena does rapid spin, guys. I'm talking about real Pokemon.
I love Serena.
I'm talking about real Pokemon.
I love Serena, but I think it definitely should have been Sandslash or Sand.
I like the team a lot overall. Though. I'll give it a 9. Like I think this team's very good.
I would
it's
give
gonna
it
be very hard to prep for.
I would give it 8, and then if you got Sandslash Alola, 8.5.
Serena's not a Pokemon, guys. Let's get real for a second. Neji's up next. Hands, Cinderace, Hydreigon, Mamoswine, Gengar, Primarina, Corviknight, Uxie, Sinasha, and my goat, Glimmet. We have good momentum, good special breakers. We have Rocker. We have... I don't know. What do you think? This team, it feels a little underwhelming, but that's probably just because Bestmon hands. Like, that's just bound to happen.
I think Gengar is going to go rampant in this type of format, which makes it better. But I do think it's...
Serena is a Digimon. Yo, Pep,
Yeah.
so true.
I think the team is underwhelming, but I think it's good. Like, I think it is a tried and true 7.5 team.
I'm sorry we're not going to have, like, any super good... Like, we already are a little bit scatterbrained with some of this because we have to hurry, but we have to really hurry for this, so we're just kind of going to give a rating not super explain. I'm going to give it, like, a 6.5.
Okay.
And then lastly, we got... Ooh,
pretty good
Gouging
team.
Wake Necro. I love Necro on Sun teams. Lilligant, Hisui, Andy Shocks, Mandibuzz, Torkoal, and then Rabambi, Bronzong, Arbok. I like Bronzong on Sun teams as well because it has the option for both Heat Proof and Levitate. I think that's really nice. Specifically, the Levitate option is really nice next to Gouging Fire. Rabambi seems a little not my favorite. Like, I feel like we could have had a different fairy here, but...
Especially when you can speed boost on other mons.
A Palmon. Yeah, Serena might even be a Palmon. But I like the general core of Gouging Wake, Necro, Lilligant, Andy Shocks, Mandibuzz. So we have Fairy Resist, Bronzong, and Arbok. It's gonna be similar to Obos in that sense, where we're super weak to that, and we're also, I wouldn't even say we're not crazy weak to ground, but ground's always gonna be a problem when you have Gouging, Andy Shocks, Sun.
I would say with this team, I like it less than mine because I think you should have Rillaboom instead of a Sui and Lilligant. But I do like this team. I would definitely rate it lower than mine, though. I'd give it a 7.5.
I also think one thing that I don't like about this team that I will say holds it back for me is going to be the speed gap between Wake and Rabambi. You do have the option. You do have the option for speed boost with booster on, or special speed boosting.
Do you want anything from Wendy's?
No, I have leftovers in there.
No.
Arbok's not a real Pokemon. I agree. So this team's...
It's from your dad.
It's okay.
No, it's okay.
I think this team's good. I'm gonna go ahead and give it
All right, bye.
an 8 out of 10. And with that, if anybody wants to go back and get the rankings and average it out of what me and Obo think of these teams overall, feel free to do so. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be on vacation this next week. But thank you guys so much for watching this stream. Obviously, it was a little bit scatterbrained and our thoughts weren't super thought out. It was kind of just get on, give something for you guys so there is some sort of content. Starting next week, I think I'm going to start doing breakdowns for my team, for Team Magma, every Wednesday. I don't think it's going to start this Wednesday. I think it's going to start the following Wednesday. That way I'm going to lag a week behind so to have some time to make content. So be on the lookout for that. It might be a little hard to get it going. It might change from Wednesdays. I don't know yet, but there is going to be JJDL content on this channel outside of streams, and then I'm going to try to stream hopefully once a week for you guys as well, games of the week and whatnot. So go ahead, get to prepping your week 1 team, guys. Thank you guys so much for making this community awesome. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream, and if you're watching the VOD, let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for now, guys, this has been John Jr.
And Obo.
signing off.